Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult themes. And this is the day to fuck it up.
Was that you or me?
So, if we want to talk about failure, as President Failure, I can go off about failure. Where would you like to start? Would you like to start American history failure, personal failure, failure that I see in others?
Oh.
I've been dealing with Apple, so if you want to talk about failure, let's talk about Apple.
Yeah, apples are in general a fail.
And then they hire people who have no idea what the hell they're doing. You know, I'm not anti-contractor, but at least hire someone who has the knowledge of what they're talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
We just have a generation of people like I went to trade school, so I'm not downing trade school, but at least retain the knowledge in which that you learn is all I'm saying.
Yeah, the school I went to had no trade-in value.
I've just my computer recently took a dive on me, and it was the Apple update, their most recent update. And Yahoo has a sneaky, basically they told me Yahoo created its own virus where Yahoo becomes the default search engine, whether you like it or not.
Oh, that sucks.
So if you've ever noticed Yahoo on your computer, they're probably not supposed to be there, and it's an actual virus on your computer. And it's the real Yahoo. It's not like some weird company.
There are all sorts of things that try to make themselves the default search engine whenever you install something.
And with the new update, it really messed with something. And the guy, he's like, "You're like the 50th person to call me today."
So it's something really new?
Yeah, it's within the past week. It rendered my computer useless for a while, and then I was like, no, like this can't be. And so I sat there for 6 hours on Monday on the phone, and they still couldn't figure it out. And then on Tuesday they called me and figured it out. But in the process of that, I actually fixed this sewing machine from the ground up, and I'm actually really proud of myself. I fixed the timing. I fixed the arm that goes to the bobbin crank. I learned so much, it's not even funny. And because of my other brother's sewing machine, I learned how to work on this one. Hey, Southern Hemisphere Globehead. So I'm all stoked because this one is personal. And it's a beautiful machine, so I'm all stoked. You know, Jenny, like when you fix a car completely and you're like, hey, you driving around for a while, you know?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a high that you get off of it, no doubt. Especially when it's an odd problem that you've never run into before, and you get that moment of genius, and you go, aha!
Exactly. And the more I learn, the easier it becomes. You know, like anything else, you know, I hate to quote Doctor Who, but like, it only takes a certain amount of hours to be an apprentice, and then it only takes a certain amount of hours to be a master. It's not even about skill. It's about, like, you know, having enough dedication to learn that skill.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think there's a little more involved, but that's I think a very good basic premise.
It was somebody who was living forever, and they had acquired all these skills, and they were basically like, hey, I have nothing but time on my hands.
Bag.
So it's definitely been an up and down week. which is filled with failure. That was my security system updating itself. So I'm going to be the one to bring up controversial topics, huh? I wasn't going to do it, but if you want to talk about failure, I'm sure you guys have already talked about it. But what about Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, I never liked him. 10 years ago, I thought he was offensive and never thought he was funny. So
I have always liked Dave Chappelle, and I'm absolutely disgusted at him at this point.
He's pandering to the people that made him rich, which are middle class Trumper white guys. Those are the people who love Dave Chappelle, who buy his albums, go to all of his shows. So he's literally pandering to the people who pay his bills.
What is he, their official black guy?
Oh, I'm being nice because I'm online. You don't even want to know what I said. What I said in private. I felt it was like a teaching moment for my son. Mass movements are funny. I see it even in the trans community sometimes, where somebody will say something and I'm like, well, that's not for everybody, or in the LGBTQIA plus community in general. So when Dave Chappelle starts speaking for everybody, you should be scared. When anyone starts speaking for you, you should be scared. And he was kind of trying to speak for me. And my first thought was, what about people of color that are under the umbrella? It literally negates what he was saying. Because
Sal.
Hey, Sal.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great.
Who's that? Who came in?
Sal, Southern
sorry?
Hemisphere Globe Head.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
And yes, I really should have taken a bit to see who we had in the side chat here. So I saw that Lavender Lady and Doc Fearsome were there before we started. And Sandy and Stool. And Greg Hartwick and Jinzu.
Greg.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Checking in on our failure of a show here.
Oh, it's a failure. So it just was really disappointing to see Dave Chappelle lose his skull like that. Hey, go get a brush.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't even listen to his new stuff because I didn't like his old stuff. So.
I quote a lot of the times I quote, there's something he said, they shouldn't have given you N-words money. My mom and I say that back to each other all the time. But it's more of like us making fun of each other. But like it's sad. Like I said, he is following a mass movement because those are the people who pay his bills. In America, it's the middle class white person who, like I said, goes to his shows, watches his TV shows.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't have really thought that was his audience so much, but I didn't really know who it was.
Because there's other comedians that I've gone and seen in person, and the audience consists of all people of color. And Dave Chappelle brings a much more, universal.
Wait a minute. Black people like comedy?
So, especially in LA, and when I go to a show, it's nothing but black people. And so that's why I made that comment about, and I'm getting this from somebody else that I really respect, but it's kind of true. Like, he's pandering. And that whole, like, I'm on Team Turf, man, he had to Google that. He had to look that up and Google that because he had no idea. And the worst part about it is that he introduced the word turf to millions of people that had never heard it before. So there's grown
But how do you?
Oh, sorry.
How do you trust somebody like that, though? Who flip flops You never know what to expect. How do you trust somebody like that
Well, you don't anymore.
It's funny you would say
anymore?
that
Yes.
because it did feel like a betrayal almost. Because once again, this country is already divided. We do not need new
More
division.
fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This country is
I'm laughing at my country all the time because when you watch the news or you listen to, the big wigs, they're always talking about transformation, transformation. And they never do anything. You got to start at grassroots. You got to train the kids, get them to love a sport or whatever from a very young age. And then you can, nurture them to love the sport and, yearn to play for your country or something like that. But then you look at South Africa and like all the coaches for the top soccer teams are white. I think that maybe there are 2 black guys in all the top, like the top league. But even the rugby or the cricket, they talk about that. They want, a person of color in that top position. But when you look again, they are hiring a person of not color, like a white person.
Yeah.
So you can talk all you want, but action speaks louder than words.
Oh, big time. And also here, like, man, in America, you can't say people of color are the same. Like, I have cousins in Georgia, and when we're in the same room, we are like from 2 different planets. We love each other, we get along, we have a good time, but our experiences are completely different from each other, And you can't take 2 people from anywhere and say, oh, all of these people are all of this, So I think what happened is the world's becoming polarized. And I feel like I have to do PR. Like, Dave Chappelle speaks for himself. We all speak for ourselves,
And that's why I don't think like the New World Order thing, like one world government is possible when there are like almost 8 billion different opinions on how to run things.
Yeah, exactly. How's it going, Jeff?
Yeah, not bad.
The problem is it just creates more division, and like, we're a tinderbox in this country. We don't need any help about being angry about anything.
Yeah, name a topic and somebody is angry about it somewhere.
I've seen more fist fights in the past 6 months than I've seen in my entire life.
And when it gets down to
I
it,
think it's pretty much summed up by the fact that we can't agree it would be a good idea to listen to doctors about how to keep everyone alive.
Exactly.
Well, what do doctors know?
Well, we got our vaccine certificates. We were able to download it online. So they are starting to let people into the sports stadiums. For now, it's like 2,000 people, but you have to be vaccinated to get into the stadium. So it's the vaccine mandate is it's in full swing.
And meanwhile, in California, this doesn't make sense. So our hockey team at the Staples Center is socially distancing. I was watching a football game last Monday night. They had 75,000 people in our new stadium in Inglewood. So,
wow.
Yeah, it depends on stadium to stadium, I guess.
And how much tax money did they get to build that stadium?
What's that?
And how much tax money did they get to build that stadium?
And they put it in one of the they put it in one of the poorest areas in LA too, of course.
Oh, don't even talk about how much did they spend for a stadium, because we had a scandal just this past weekend where a story broke that they used 15 million rand, so like, I don't know, $1 million, to build a sports stadium, but all it had were 2 like bleacher stands, those like step seat things, 2 of them. And that's what they called a stadium. For 15 million rand.
That
Yeah,
actually
so
happened
somebody took $1 million and spent about 1,000.
Absolutely.
Funnily enough,
We call it tenderpreneuring. Because everything is a tender in this country.
Yeah. I may very well be jumping on my own channel a little later, depending on how I feel, and talking sport a little bit. So, or sports washing, to be more precise.
Is there a major game today?
No, but there's been in Britain. There's been, should we just say, rather big news about in the English Premier League over the last couple of days. The takeover of one of the clubs at Newcastle United, which is probably now going to be the richest soccer club in the world. Here's the problem: it's been taken over by a group called the PIF, whose chairman is Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
So yeah, they're letting that guy. I mean, even though they're trying to make out that this is nothing to do with the Saudi regime. It's like the goddamn crown prince who runs the country is the head of this consortium. And he's been he
I love how they tell us we're not doing that, but actually that's what they're doing.
It's exactly what they're doing, and the thing is, the Saudis. Mohammed bin Salman, in particular, right, is been using sports and sports events to try and, should we say, I don't know, should we say, present a sort of different image of Saudi Arabia to the rest of the world, which is completely false. I mean, he's had a number of he's had big boxing matches out there. I believe it's the old WWE wrestling or whatever they've been putting on big shows out there.
Don't they have this new slogan that goes something like, "Yes, we stone our women to death, but we play soccer."
Yeah.
No,
I don't think it's any accident that the person they've chosen to front up this takeover of this football club is a woman, a British businesswoman. But I don't think that is accidental, that they have, should we say, chosen to do that, make them look like, hey, we're not such bad people, We're not as we're not completely unprogressive, but it's disgusting that it's been allowed to happen. I mean,
yeah, Saudi Arabia has been trying for at least the last 50 years to build a tourism industry, and that they don't seem to quite grasp that you're not going to get many American and European women to come if they think there's a chance that they're going to get killed just for walking around.
Dubai kind of is better at that. Because I know a lot of people that have gone to Dubai and they come back and they're like, oh, I had the time of my life. Quite a few.
Yeah, but apparently there are separate sections for the tourists to just go and be tourists.
Yeah, well, that's common in a lot of countries.
Exactly, because I lived in Sinaloa, Mexico, and I consider it one of the most peaceful, calming places on earth. And if you look it up, it's one of the most dangerous places on earth. you know. But when I lived there, I had a great experience, but it doesn't reflect the overall experience of that area at all. And China is the best at that. During the Olympics, they were like literally just putting up walls on certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see.
Yeah, it was the exact same thing. It was the exact same thing they were doing hosting the Olympics, or trying to, and you know they've used they've been trying to use soccer as a bit of a political thing as well. I mean, my the club I support is actually owned by a Chinese businessman, and I almost wonder how much of that is trying to suck up to the regime, because you know for some reason Xi Jinping has decided he's a massive soccer fan now.
He really has.
China, yeah, even though China's historically it's never been a big like soccer nation.
Isn't they like used to gymnastics and swimming and diving and that type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
for some reason, gymnastics seems to be a big one for the communist countries to go in for.
Yeah.
Because all they have time to do is just train.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing. Like I said, none of this is anything new. Of course, I mean, crikey, I mean, you know, look at the ultimate example of it was the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. You know,
But
exactly
like right now,
it's not exactly nothing new, but
right now in America, like this, I've known it for a while, but I discovered it more when I did the Kwame Brown stream. We do the same thing that China does. The only difference is the kids go home at night. We groom children from the time they're 6 or 7 years old. We have a league that is dedicated to kids who are in 12 to 18 who are better than everybody else. We have all kinds of leagues that exploit children. So we do the same thing in America.
The only difference is in America, they're not directly paid by the government, that it's usually the parents that get the kids started, and then the ones that make it through the first couple of cuts wind up getting corporate sponsorships.
Look, Kwame Brown was this giant black kid in the ghetto, and someone walked up to him. They're like, hey, I'm going to send you to this $1 million prep school for free if you join the basketball team. And he did. And then he later on got groomed by Michael Jordan. It's just, it's sad what we do to kids in this country over sports.
Well, we do it more than just sports. I mean, religious is an indoctrination. I was listening to a guy on Twitter the other day from England, and he was just absolutely laughing his ass off at American schools. He says, do you know, he's obviously trying to talk to a UK audience. And he's saying, do you know what they do in America with their kids? He says, if they have to go to the bathroom, they have to ask permission from the teacher, get a written slip, and then show it to anybody who asks for it while they're on their way to the bathroom and back. And which, of course, to all of us sounds, well, yeah, so. And he says, we don't do that here. He says, if you got to go, you just go. And then you come back.
I
don't know where he went. I don't know where he went to school in the UK. But no, it was that. Okay, we didn't necessarily have to get. I don't necessarily. We always had to get written slipped. It was sometimes depended on the school, but yeah, you couldn't just get up and go. A lot of
when I was in elementary school, each classroom, had a hall pass. It actually was usually like a block of wood, so that only one kid in the class could go to the bathroom at a time. Yeah, and that's.
Same.
They had to ask the teacher for the hall pass to be able to go out of the room while class was in session.
Same in my day too.
Well, the intent of the discussion was to talk about how this is making kids acceptance of authoritarian situation from day one, and forcing them to realize that they cannot do anything without permission of higher ups or adults or whoever's in charge. And I have to kind of disagree. The guy said a lot better than I am right now, but I really had to agree with what he's saying. That it really does make people into sheep to have that kind of sense.
See, the biggest observation that I would make of the difference between American schools and British schools is we don't have armed security at our schools checking to make sure that no one's bringing a gun in. That's generally the biggest difference.
Yeah.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah, don't want to talk about the schools either because
it's
damn.
ironic. It's ironic to hear a British person talking about being armed in general. America is just a different place. We are violent, we're abrupt, and no matter how much you try to suppress that, like right now, if somebody ran in here unexpectedly, this entire stream would go viral in 3 seconds because I would put them out of their misery. America is just a different place.
We've had one school shooting in Britain ever, and it was in 1996, I believe, and it pretty much led to handguns being banned in the UK. And that was actually an adult walking into a school, and I mean, it was horrible. I think it's about 16 children, I think, died in this. It was horrible.
I honestly think that, banning guns is not going to help anybody because the guns from the underground, I mean, there are cases in this country where cops, seized weapons from like busts and then ended up selling them to other criminals. So banning weapons from, like civilians is the wrong move.
Works okay I say work. So having reasonable controls does work. I mean,
Yeah, but
every individual has a right to defend their own lives and their families. So taking that away from civilians is the wrong move. You're going to get a lot of vigilantes.
Are you saying that there's no knife crime in your country?
Oh, there's all sorts of crime in this country.
No, he's asking me. Of course there is.
So
of course there's knife crime.
You know what is the weapon of choice in this country?
It probably doesn't equate, but
AK-47s. How does a military-grade weapon get into the hands of civilian criminals?
Well, in
That's what's happening in my country.
In my country, we have market
and what
stuff
they want to do is they actually want to take away the weapons from the civilians while the criminals are running around with AK-47s. Oh, stunned into silence.
Which
cash
be honest,
in
if they're getting AK-47s, you think more AK-47s are going to be the solution?
I just want to know how military-grade weapons are getting into the hands of civilians.
I'd like to know that as well.
Yeah, because if the criminals... Yeah, if the criminals...
that's why we have gun laws
yes.
and controls, so
yes.
that shit's not supposed to happen. That's
ask Godless Sewing about my police minister.
Failure that's a serious failure of the state, really.
Well, it happens because the U.S. will sell them to anyone, and a lot of questionable countries buy loads of military equipment from the U.S. and then sell them to anyone who will pay them for them.
Yep. So cash-in transits are a very big problem in this country. You know, those vehicles that move the money, they are very big targets in this country. And the weapon of choice is the AK-47 because it's one of the few weapons that can penetrate those armored vehicles.
Oh, wow.
And
I
my
have
police minister looks like a gangster. So
I think in America there was a in 1989, I believe, Peter Hitchens and Chris Hitchens were on C-SPAN, and Peter Hitchens kind of said it the best when he was asked about gun control in America, and he was like, "What control? You have no control." So here it is, all these years later. I live in that world. That's a reality. There's no way you could ever take away guns in America, because then only crazy people would be left with them. If you were to take
So
all the people who register their guns, you would literally only have gangsters with guns. Quite literally.
I have not seen this, but I'm just assuming if Peter Hitchens said that, Christopher Hitchens said completely the opposite, because the rule of thumb between the Hitchens brothers was they disagreed on just about everything, just because other one would.
On that particular issue, they agreed. And that's actually something really interesting.
That's rare in itself.
I gotta look that up. I'm subscribed to this really, I'm subscribed to weird YouTubers, but there's a guy who followed Hitch's entire career, and Hitch, I say this all the time because we're all going to be proven wrong by history, but Hitch was wrong like 59% of the time.
Oh, Christ. He was wrong on it. He had some. Christopher Hitch. This is the thing. You got all these. There's so many atheists who just revere Christopher Hitchens. And I will say, a lot of the debates he had on like those topics, he was really good on them. But I just know a lot of women atheists who just almost worship this guy as if he was infallible, and he had some fucking awful takes on shit.
That's why I always say go back and watch him.
I was disgusted the way he was a bloody cheerleader for the Iraq War and for Tony Blair. It was disgusting.
He was one of the main cheerleaders. He went on every television show here in America and the UK and promoted it.
And his brother, the right-wing Christian, Peter Hitchens, actually had a much better fucking position on it than he did.
I actually liked Peter Hitchens up until COVID, where he got real weird. Where he joined like Anne Marie Waters, Douglas Murray. He joined that crowd.
But do you know the irony though? In both the Hitchens brothers, in their youth, they both got their start in journalism. Writing for the Socialist Worker of all things. They were Trotskyites, both of them.
Yeah.
At one time,
I never heard about him until he died.
I really liked Chris Hitchens later in his life when he was debating and kicking the crap out of Christians. But I grew up with him on television, so I knew that he was a serial contrarian. And all the people want to send me hate mail, godless sewing at godless sewing. Because there's always that one person.
I totally agree. He was. Both of the Hitchens brothers are contrarian because like I said, they were deliberately contrarian towards each other. They'd always take the opposite position just because for some reason, they just didn't get along.
They hated each other. That one debate they had in Detroit was actually a good one, but it was so one-sided because everyone came to see Chris. They didn't even know who Peter was.
Yeah.
These are good things to go back and watch on YouTube. Like all the Chris Hitchens stuff. He's well-spoken and educated. He's very well.
The most one-sided one I ever saw, which I suppose if you are you're an atheist, you want to cheer a couple of atheists on against a couple of theists in a debate. That one they had on the Catholic Church with that Catholic Archbishop, and it was Christopher Hitchens and Stephen Fry against this Catholic Archbishop and at this British politician, Anne Widdecombe. Well, Hitchens and Fry absolutely ripped them to shreds.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Catholic Church can't defend itself. Anyone who defends the Catholic Church is insane.
I mean, to be honest, but they did like polls of it. They did polls of the audience before and after of what was their current position, what was their position going in, and and going out, and it was about going into it, about say 60% were on Hitchens and Fry's side going in.
Yeah.
By the end of the debate, it was like 85 to somewhere between 85 and 90%. I mean, there was like a 25% swing during that debate, because Hitchens and Fry were obviously just absolutely on form, and the Catholic Archbishop just made a lot of appeals to emotion, and the thing is, if you've ever listened to Anne Widdecombe, anyone's ever listened to Anne Widdecombe for any length of time whatsoever, she is one of the most repugnant, dislikable human beings in Britain.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sorry, Johnny. I had muted you for a bit there, and I forgot to put you back.
And to answer Sandy, yeah, he does photobomb, and I'm a crappy hall monitor because he should be doing his modules right now. But I'm a crummy hall monitor. This is homeschooling.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of parent
Yeah, nerdy being pro-gun and anti-choice is pretty much the basis for the right wing in the U.S.
My new argument is with when anyone's like, okay, my body, my choice, with the anti-maskers, and I always tell them, like, okay, so you guys are for abortion then, right? I always bring that up. I brought it up recently. Just to remind people how insane.
The thing is, they also use that as a sort of slap back on us as well, like, which is weird, but they will do that.
I don't get it. But
the funny thing is, I'm like saying here, but hold on. I said the one I would turn around and say to them all the time is, yeah, okay, if a woman chooses to have an abortion, she's aborted that one fetus, okay? So you can argue one life. So you go around spreading COVID to fuck knows who many, how many people. You don't know how many people you're going to fucking kill.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
That's what. Then they don't seem to get that.
And my argument for the abortion, the woman making her own choice, what if she was raped and she doesn't want that reminder, for the rest of her life? She should be allowed to make that decision. And obviously she's going to be the one to live with it. So who is anybody else to, judge her or see her in a different light or whatever? You can never know what drives a person to make. That is a very hard decision to make, no matter who you are. And I'm sure that women who make those decisions don't take it lightly. It's not something to play with. It affects the rest of your life. And if you talk to some women, they do actually say that they regret it, or, if they didn't do that, who knows what kind of life they would have had, or the child for that matter.
Yeah. See, who said this? I don't know if any of you are familiar with the British sitcom called The New Statesman at all.
Nope.
Okay, well, Rick Mail played this conservative politician who was just like the most, like, let's just put it this way: the character did not have a single redeeming quality about him as a human being. But it was one episode where he actually says, because the issue of abortion comes up, he says, "Look, I'm not that unprogressive. I'm not against abortion." He says, I'm just against this idea of a woman's right to choose." So,
oh wow, that's even worse.
Yeah, this was the character he was playing. That was just those disgusting. This character had not a single redeeming quality about him whatsoever.
No government anywhere should have any right to say make any decision for any human, male or female, Well, what they are going to choose to do with their body.
Yes.
And that from all the way from the choice of abortion or not to the choice of euthanasia or not.
Well,
that should extend to men also. Not only for women, but all adults should have that, afforded to them for whatever decisions they want to make for their bodies.
To make it a little bit more light than the other topic, in America, in certain states, it's illegal to get certain body modifications. And I think it's crazy. If you want to get horns and look like a lizard, you have to go to Arizona. If you want to get special implants, there's certain states that don't allow tongue splitting, that don't allow, and I think that's crazy. Like, I'm not for it. It makes me cringe about splitting your tongue, but if someone wants to look like a lizard, I'm no one to judge them.
We need to get you on a stream with Slim there, Will.
Oh my!
I just
then
feel
you
the
have
pain.
people. You have people who bully other people into going through crap because they want them around. Not talking about anybody I know or anything.
The people need to understand, for example, that these people they're not playing all their cards. They have not put down their ace card. Okay. They're starting with this or that. They'll talk about tongue splitting, but ultimately they're going to say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to ban anybody from ever having any kind of treatment for being transgender."
Exactly.
Okay, and just ban it completely. It's going to happen. I guarantee you, it's going to happen.
It's already happening.
Well, sure, it is with children.
That's why I brought up Dave Chappelle, because all that he really did, regardless of what side he thinks he's on, was just throw a shit ton of fuel on the fire. And now instead of being able to see it from down the street, now you can see that fire from outer space.
Well, but
No,
Will, I think,
not.
like you were saying earlier, all he wanted to do was throw fire and get free publicity.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
He's not on any side. He really doesn't care one way or the other.
Right.
He just took whatever he thought was going to get him mentioned the most times on TV.
And let's not forget, this man is a multi-millionaire. He is not considered one of us. Like, he lives on a different plane,
Mm-hmm.
I forget every time I hear someone like Dave Chappelle say, "Oh, what about us?" Like, bruh, I can't even walk in your neighborhood.
Yep.
Like,
Hello.
Yay!
Hey, Diana.
How is you is?
Moo.
That copy is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. So I thought I'd come in. What I thought was going to take a minute or two was going to take over an hour. And it's like, oh, Jesus, don't give me this shit. Oh, because I'm trying to set up the other side of this system. So, yeah, I mean, I really hate wind shit, but set up the wind shit side and see if I can't do something with OBS there and get it to work. And then let's have a look at my present.
How about your past?
My present from me to me.
Oh, we're doing an unboxing here.
Yeah,
That is
there
the
you
best
go.
kind of gift.
Yes, it is. Oh my! And that's probably the phone notification that my present arrived. They always tell you long after. At least I was here to receive it today, because yesterday I was bleeding into a machine when the UPS guy got here.
Yesterday, I was out at a bar, and this cable installer shows up, looks at his watch, and realizes it stops, and he says, "What time is it?" I said, "It's between 12 and 6."
Yeah, they were actually kind of nice to me this time. They said it was going to come between 12:30 and 2:30, and they were accurate.
I had a delivery every day. It was between 8 and 8.
Oh God, I hate those.
I do too.
Where
It drives me crazy.
you have to sit by the door all damn day. Yeah.
I never get a delivery, so I don't have to worry about that. Can I just say hi to my friend Carl Edwards in the chat?
No, we won't let
Hey.
you.
Hi, Carl.
My Carl, baby.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is Carl's first time here. I'm used to seeing him.
Oh God. What a way to lose your side chat virginity. Wait a minute. Why is this not? Oh, I see. I see. Oh, for the fuck's sake. God, this thing is like triple locked. They've got a tab that fits into a tab, and then there's another tab that fits into the first tab. There we go. There we go. Yay. I is so full of poo.
But I saw a cat tail sticking up, so you got another cat?
Not yet. I mean, there's only Sylvia here so far.
I thought that's what was coming out of the box, was you had another kitty there.
Oh, man. I'm really of the mind that I'd like to see about a friend for Sylvia, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I keep thinking about it for Sammy's son, too, but unfortunately, the two previous cats he had lived with both bullied him, so...
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how it would go with the little one. I know she can be kind of feisty, so it might be okay to have another kitty.
Yeah, but actually, since we moved here, Sammy's been a lot more active than he used to be.
Oh,
so
okay.
he kind of needs... I think he needs somebody to chase him and tire him out a bit.
I don't know. Send him over here. Oh, God, this is amazing. The laptop I had weighed about 90 pounds, and it was throwing my back out. And now we've got this little guy.
Oh.
Very nice.
Yeah, weighs about 2 pounds. Runs Linux. It's a
new Acer notebook.
Yeah, it's an Acer notebook. And it, like I say, it runs Linux, so I can work at the dialysis clinic.
Those are awesome. I actually own one of those. They're awesome.
Okay. So I have the question: how much did you pay for yours?
I walked up to the counter. It was like in the $200 or $300 range.
Okay, you got a nice price. I just got through paying $1,200 for this thing.
I got it at Walmart for my son. It probably was way more. I swiped my credit card. I pointed at it. I'm a yuppie.
Okay. Okay.
Is it a notebook or a laptop?
It looks like a cross between a notebook and a laptop. I mean, let me show you.
I can't see. Don't bother, Diana.
Oh,
it looks to me like a 10-inch tablet with a keyboard.
Yeah. I think the screen is, I think they said it's 14 inches.
Oh, okay. I was underestimating it then.
But it's light. Oh my word, it's light. I
it
like
looks very
that.
Thin.
Yes. I'd say it's less than a half-inch thick. And that's much better. The laptop I was using weighed, I think, literally about 8 pounds.
Well, yeah, you have to carry it and walking quite a distance, don't you?
Yeah. And the backpack itself, oh my word, when I first went to the clinic, they actually weighed it for me, and I think it was 12 pounds. The backpack is a total. So hopefully I've taken at least 5 pounds off that backpack, and maybe my neck will hurt less. 'Cause that's basically why I got this thing. Because, like I say, I don't have an extra 1,200 to throw around without thinking about it. But 1,200 to save my neck a little bit. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, well, it makes, it's worth spending some money for you because it is something that you're literally, carrying back and forth while you're walking a couple of miles every other day, huh?
Yeah. Oh my word. And what's really bad is the time that my dialysis ends, I get finished up just after I miss the bus. So I've got to wait an hour if I want that bus.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it's literally an hour I have to sit outside, and not my idea of a good time. So what I usually end up doing is walking to the highway, and then by the time I'm at the highway, I might as well walk the rest of the way home. So that's about 2 miles.
Well, you're feeling
And
well
you
enough
do.
after the dialysis to be walking home?
I was just gonna ask.
Now it's a little bit tiring, but it's not as bad as it was when I first started. When I first started, there was no way I could even walk to the bus stop. I ended up calling a car every day.
That's crazy. If I lived closer, I'd give you a ride.
Oh, well, thank you, honey. Really
Well,
and
that's why I kept
truly.
trying to get her to move here so that we could run her back and forth to her appointments.
It's not
Well,
nice
I
to
mean-
go through this alone.
Well, what I need is a caretaker and a chauffeur right now. And I know you're saying move to Minnesota, and it's like I also have this sense of home
Yeah.
where it's really difficult for me to move literally halfway across the country.
And restart your schedule and everything with new people and
Yeah. Well,
That's the
I get it.
point, new
Yeah.
doctors and
yeah.
new transplant center and new everything. Not an easy thing.
Well,
No, I
nice
get
here.
that it would be a huge disruption, but just, that you would have some friends here who could help you out with everything. I mean, Sloth Girl has already volunteered to be your chauffeur.
I mean, that is the thing that is tempting. It's okay. You go out there and okay, so you take the offer. It's also ripping yourself up, and I'm sorry, but the other thing that wears at my mind is I know you say it won't happen, but what if you decide you don't like me anymore, and now I'm in the middle of a foreign place by myself? I mean,
Well,
I've had
that's
that
what the
happen to me.
That's what the Mississippi River is for.
Yeah.
Well, as far as that goes, even if you were on your own here, at least the city's got reasonably decent bus service.
And as someone
I
who's
could
on
get to all-
Medicare,
Yeah, I could get to all the medical clinics here on the bus. Actually, my main clinic is like half a mile up the road. I can walk to it.
Daju korostu.
and Diana, as someone on Medicare, you get free rides to and from your doctor's appointments as necessary.
I was about
Yep.
to say here they do that. Like you get free rides on the bus, or we have what's called dial-a-ride.
Yeah, they've got the dial-a-ride here too, and yeah, the Medicaid will cover that to get you to all medical appointments. Sloth Girl had to use that when I was there with Diana because one of her medical appointments she had to go into Minneapolis for, so that was like 65 miles away. But yeah, they had a driver who picked her up, took her in there for the testing, and brought her home.
That is so nice.
Yeah, I have to call him one of these days, and I haven't figured out what to call him yet. But Von Rick has actually volunteered to move in with me for a couple of months. I just have to figure out where to put him. The only thing we don't have is a chauffeur, because when Von Rick broke his back, he had to surrender his driver's license.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know how that works, but
The only other person I've ever heard about getting their license taken away like that was I know someone who's an epileptic, and they had a seizure and they woke up in the hospital and they revoked his license right then and there.
oh yes,
Yeah, that's true in probably every state.
yeah, everybody does that. As a matter of fact, I am amazed that they did not revoke my driver's license when I was having motor seizures.
I was laughing
years and years and years ago, so don't even try it now. But no, I was 18 years old at the time.
The person I'm talking about, he moved to Colombia and recently sent me a picture of him driving.
Oh yeah.
That's why
funny.
I was kind of laughing. And he got a brand, like, I'm having major tooth pain right now, and to be a complete dick, he got a whole new mouth for $800 in Colombia.
Wow.
And in America, that would be $500,000.
Yeah, I mean,
You laugh, but each tooth costs $2,000 for an implant.
That's
yeah, they'll tell you how much they want for.
I'm getting work done right now. That's why I'm in pain, and I have to wait a week before I can get the rest of my work done. And it's I'm paying these people to torture me.
Yeah, excruciating torture.
Oh, God.
The worst
Will, I'll
thing
do that
one can
for
go
free.
through is bloody mouth pain.
Jenny,
That's the
there's a
worst.
line.
There we go.
There's a line for that
Well,
one.
unfortunately, that's one thing the Medicaid here doesn't want to cover, is that I can't even wear dentures because there's just not enough bone left in my lower jaw to hold them in place.
Oh, don't tell me that. I'm holding out for dentures because the men in my family just have bad teeth. That's just the way it is. So I was thinking, like, I'm just gonna get dentures.
But so for me, it would require some bone grafts, and they would need to implant a couple of posts to snap the dentures on.
Yeah.
And the estimate I got for that was about $18,000.
And to me, that sounds cheap
won't
to
even
me.
pay a dime for it.
Right.
So yeah, that's it. I've had to learn to live without teeth because there's no way I can afford that.
My pops rocked no teeth. I'm too vain. I'm way too vain for all that. I'm getting work done right now for that very reason.
I've got to go to the dentist tomorrow. Hopefully, get a filling come out like a week or two ago. Got to get that sorted.
Damn right, it ages you when
the keyboard is backlit.
When you don't have teeth. Once my dad lost all his teeth, that's when we started calling him Willie Nelson.
So guys, unfortunately, we are experiencing load shedding. Have you heard of load shedding?
No.
Load shedding.
For the electric grid?
Yep. So randomly, they put the electricity off throughout the country throughout the day. And we've had 2 already for today, and it's going off at 10 p.m. again. So yay!
All right.
We get those here. We call them rolling blackouts, and it's because people in LA can't respect we can't respect each other, so we're constantly pulling power, and they have to shut us down.
Wow, no. What's happening in my country is our electricity is being siphoned off to other African countries for less than cost, and we have to pay the price for it. I mean, like literally the price. And we get deprived of electricity at, very important times of the day, like in the mornings and the evenings. Families need to get ready for work and school, and when they get home, make supper and all of that. And those things are not a norm here. You get home to darkness.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
People would be storming. They'd be storming the buildings here if that happened here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that my country folk are taking all of this so calmly, and we are less than 3 weeks away from the municipal elections.
There we
So
go.
I don't know what is going to happen. And one of the antagonists, in the political scene, has apparently promised free electricity to everybody if they win. I don't know how they will do that when already we cannot sustain the grid.
Politicians say all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Everybody
but
gets
you have to
free
look
ice
at,
cream and
we have to look at reality. You can't have 3 2.5 hour, blackouts every day, and then think, oh yeah, that guy's gonna be able to give us electricity.
Yeah.
with all mass movements, there's the hope that somehow this person can make it happen. There's always false hope.
Okay, but we do have some real hope, because they opened the alternative energy sources. So what they're going to do is put a ship offshore, and it's going to be fitted with solar panels, and then apparently feed some of that into the grid. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it, but they showed an illustration. Seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Offshore,
Well, they do that all over. We do it with windmills here.
We do. I was going to say we've got plenty of offshore wind farms.
Same
Yeah,
here.
this is going to be on a ship.
We have about 80 of them sitting off the shore of California right now that can't dock. I'm sure we can give you a few.
Oh,
Has anyone heard about
my government know?
Has anyone heard about there's going to be a tractor shortage? Well, there is right now. And there's going to be a parts shortage within the next year and a half.
Why? Because I went to apply for my ID last week, and I had to travel about 70 Ks, and it's like rolling fields. And you see all this abandoned equipment just laying in the fields with weeds growing around it.
So in America, we have the same problem, but we no longer. It's basically right now there's a tire shortage because rubber is gonna be a commodity in the next 2 years. Which, like I said, when society goes down, people like me are going to be warlords because I have a shop. I am now hoarding tires.
All right.
Good idea.
And I have armed security too.
And the last time we spoke, Purple said something about the cars needing chips or something, and there's a shortage with that. And
that the major auto manufacturers have a lot of cars basically sitting at the end of the assembly line that are almost ready to go, but they can't get the computer chips, so they can't enable them.
It's the same thing with harvesters right now and the tires. I listen to a lot of libertarian radio, and they're like, it's constantly like, oh, the end is nigh, But the truth is, this has happened before in the 20s. Like, people aren't working, they don't have the infrastructure, and because it didn't happen, because the supply was so high a couple years ago, they now don't have the people
It's not since the 20s. Jesus told his apostles the end would come within their lifetime. And they've been telling this to every single generation since then.
This is just a complete repeat of what happened 100 years ago. No, I'm just saying.
Looking at what he told his disciples, you'd think it'd be like pretty safe to assume by now that we've been stood up.
Yeah, worst comeback ever.
when it's gone 100 generations and the prophecy hasn't come true yet, you'd think people would give up on it.
Yeah, you mean no show. Never mind anything else.
I always, my pops used to always tell me that his grandmother told him in 1899, everybody thought the world was going to end and Jesus was going to come back. In 1966, on 6/6/66, people were scared, you know. And on 8/8/08, Ron Parsley on the Jesus channel, which is TBN in America, said that Jesus is coming back on 8/8/08. Do you know how stupid he looked on the 9th?
The world has ended at least 24 times in my lifetime.
How many raptures? How many raptures have we survived?
Yep.
Well,
yeah, you know, I went through the millennium
raptures.
craze, and you know, and
Well,
the Mayan calendar in 2012. And,
Oh, don't get me started on that. There
That
was
was funny.
In 1999, when everybody was worried about the whole Y2K thing, I spent that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day being homeless. And I was sitting on that bench and just watching everybody. That's how I spent going into the new year, you know, into 2000, and nothing happened.
I have
That's the reason nothing happened is because people realized there was a problem and everybody got their ass in gear and fixed it.
Yeah.
Before it happened. The people who didn't, the naysayers, the anti-vaxxers of the computer industry, they got fucked badly.
Yeah, that
the
could have
majority
been a
of people
problem if they
responded and
didn't
fixed
address it. But yeah.
And meanwhile, I have a neighbor who moved away 22 years now and still lives in the woods of Montana. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a nice guy, but he moved away and became a survivalist.
The whole Y2K thing, people were, you know, all upset, all scared of it right up to the moment. You know, even to the point, you know, that's like, okay, my ex that I was living with at the time was worried about it, and I said, you know, it's not something we really need to worry about, but you know, you're worried about it, so all we have to do is watch New Year's Eve in London, and if London doesn't shut down, you know, we're okay. And if London shuts down, then we've got 6 hours notice.
Did it work? Did it help?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we watched the New Year's Eve in London on TV and nothing happened, so everybody calmed down.
I partied so hard that year. I went to the Rose Parade in good old Pasadena, California, and had the time of my life. That was great.
As for London, I was gonna say, as for London, should we say public works projects around the millennium, everything that had the word millennium attached to it seemed to be a fucking disaster. The bridge, the dome.
The dome.
Oh,
the thing that looks like a dick.
No. It's now the O2 Arena.
Sorry, Richard. I'm a total non-believer. Jesus is gonna have to walk up to me and tell me my social security number.
For anyone not familiar with him, Richard Madsen has the most unique take on the Bible I have ever heard.
Peace,
I'll give you that.
Peace and respect, Richard. Peace and respect.
Yeah, I don't want to get into a big religious discussion on here today, but no, I would definitely recommend people, you know, going and looking at some of his conversations with other people. He had quite a string of them with MathPig.
Oh yeah, okay.
I'm a bit of a nihilist, so it makes me cynical. So I've stopped commenting on religion in general because it just comes out as jokes.
I'm with you, Will.
I'm a bit of a, you know, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
I'm gonna go
out of respect.
A little bit. I'm gonna start setting up my stream in a few minutes, but I mean, I'll still be on here. I'm just gonna chat, but I'll be sort of busy setting up. But I'm kind of wondering how many of sort of Daft Dawkins trolls I'm going to attract after my last video.
Oh yay!
Jeff, if you want to set yours up to start in about an hour, then I'll probably have to be going, and we can just hand everything over to you.
Yeah, I was gonna set up for 8 p.m. my time, which is about 50 minutes. But yeah, I can do it in an hour if you want. But
no, that's what I was meaning. Like at the top of the hour here. So yeah, in like 45, 50 minutes, everybody can go over to Jeff's channel.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
I will be asking. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, my network is really bad, and the load shedding is gonna start soon. So I'm gonna have to duck out, but I'll be listening in the background. Purple, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, always good to have you here.
It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you, Sal.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye,
Enjoy your day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't tell me what.
I am gonna say to anyone who's over on when I'm talking later and has a wrench, feel free to play whack-a-mole with anyone involved with Darth Dawkins or Otangelo, because Otangelo can fuck off now. He's not welcome around my channel anymore.
Oh man, I've heard some stuff about Otangelo.
Yeah,
Jeff?
I think I told you some of the stuff the other day, didn't I, Diana?
Yeah, huh?
About what was going on with those two fucking arseholes.
Yeah.
Hey Jeff, send me a link to your StreamYards. I'll jump in and bother you.
Yeah, well, as soon as Jeff gets it ready,
you want to talk sports, Jenny? Yeah.
Well, I can always harass you from behind. You know, what I know is like zero.
Okay. Anyway, right. I'm just gonna mute for a while. I'm gonna go outside and have a cigarette. So.
But I can't give you a scenic view like that. This belongs to the Purple Show.
This is the Purple Show. The Purple Show. The ever-loving motherfucking Purple Show.
I want to go off on a bit of a tangent. It'll take 2 seconds. Disney purchased the rights to my hockey team's television rights, which is their rival, and they created their own sports network. And I'm really mad about it, but there's nothing I can do except for watch their channel, because they literally got rid of Fox Sports, and now it's Bally's, which is owned by Disney.
Well,
Disney will plan it.
I would bitch, but it's not the first time such a thing has happened, because you know about Yes, right?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, the Yankees channel. And they put a lock on everything in New York and everything. So it's the same damn thing.
They did that with the Dodgers and lost 3/2 of LA.
Okay.
Because, most people can barely afford cable. So because Spectrum owns everything, they privatized the Dodgers. And so you have to have the Dodger channel now to watch the Dodgers. It's really sad.
Oh, for Christ's sake. I don't know, man. So you mean I am better off than you guys are? Because with MLB TV, I can actually watch the Dodger games?
Well, I can watch it because I have Spectrum, but I don't know how many times my neighbor will walk in my garage and be like, "Are you watching the game?" Because
Diana, you're not really better off. You got the Pirates or the that Philadelphia team, whoever the fuck they are. 70. No, that's basketball.
No, you mean the Phillies?
Yeah, that's it. What a creative name. Hey, Philadelphia Phillies.
There you go. No, I was actually never a Phillies fan. The teams I follow, and I follow more than one team, but the teams that I follow are the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Nationals.
I can't believe the fucking Brewers led the whole damn league all season and then can't get through the fucking playoffs.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
Oh, so they folded, huh?
Yeah, they did. It was a great game. Great game last night.
I preferred the Nationals when they were the Montreal Expos. I preferred them then.
Oh, I missed the Expos. Dennis Martinez. Those were great days. The Dodgers won last night too, so they're going.
Oh, they did. I was just about to ask. Well, you know what happened? You know what happened to the Expos, right?
Yeah.
They became the Nationals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My team. Yay! I was so happy when baseball came back to the Capitol.
Tonight is game 5, the deciding game 5 between the Giants, between the Vagrants and the Dodgers.
So Diana, remind me, what was the team that was it the Senators, the original Washington team?
Yeah, it was.
Where was it they moved to again? I'm trying to remember.
Okay, the Senators moved to Arlington, Texas, and became the Rangers.
Oh, okay.
That was in 1971, I think.
Yeah.
71 or 70, one of the two.
I think I'm probably the only person in England that likes baseball, so...
I love baseball. I mean, I'm not in England, but still, that's my game. And I'm a baseball girl in a football town. Everybody's all about the Steelers here.
Well, so I'm going to say, because baseball does not have a following in the UK. American football, the NFL, has a massive following in the UK. But
oh, really?
I find that really strange. That's awesome, though.
Well, there's been talk. I mean, there's been talk off and on about an NFL franchise in London for a number of years now. But whether it will happen or not, I don't know. There's definitely. I know the Jaguars have toyed with the idea a couple of times of moving to London. But
my sister's ex-husband used to play in the NFL Europe League for a while.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. For a few years there, I mean, the London Monarchs were drawing big crowds. For a few, in Germany, the teams out there, they really used to draw massive. It was massive in Germany, American football.
Oh yeah. NFL Europe was awesome.
Yeah. Jenny, we're getting a lot of wind noise from you there.
Mm.
Okay, well, I'll wind up the window in a moment.
Okay.
But
little nature, everybody gets upset.
Well, it's getting kind of hard for people in the side chat to be hearing other people talking.
It was
fine.
Okay.
But I always wish they'd bring NFL Europe back. Actually, I mean, there was some silly decisions, which was kind of why it started. When the Monarchs decided to just change their name to the England Monarchs, then try and play all the way around the country, it just didn't work because it's like they had the base in London. They could have kept drawing crowds then, but. But they had this silly thing where they moved in because they were originally playing at Wembley Stadium, and I forget which stadium it was a soccer stadium they moved into. I forget which one, but the ground wasn't big enough, so they had this silly, stupid thing where they only had one end zone, and basically the game could only be played one way. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy.
But there's plenty of soccer stadiums now that, because I know the new one that Tottenham Hotspur occupy, they've been keen on the idea of like having an NFL franchise in their stadium, and then obviously you got loads of massive stadiums in London, the Emirates Stadium, obviously Wembley, the Olympic Stadium. There is Twickenham Rugby Stadium, but I know in the RFU they probably wouldn't allow American football on their pitch. I don't get because they've got a massive stadium that they could really use,
I thought I'd change scenes and let you once again see that Wisconsin is the land of giant animals.
Yep, I put you up on the full display there for everybody to see.
Yep. For reference, that fish is at least as tall as a bus, not a double-decker bus.
What? So they're not bringing double-decker fish in Lake Michigan yet?
No.
When I was in middle school, this was like back in the late 70s. Somebody was actually trying to fund a project to go and capture the Loch Ness Monster to form a breeding colony of them in Lake Michigan.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, let's skip over the part about proving it exists first. They were just going to fund a project that they were going to go and capture a couple of them and bring them back here.
Well, it's important to be positive on your goals.
Okay, this is taking a little getting used to, but we can do this. Belakisa.
Okay, so I'm taking it this is the Mississippi River still here.
Wait a minute, I don't see anything.
Well, this is technically the confluence of the Mississippi and Black Rivers. What's right in front of us is the Black River. The Mississippi is past the trees that you see on the islands.
Okay.
I do not know the Black River. What is that all about?
The Black River is a river that flows from approximately the kind of the center left of the state of Wisconsin, way up near the north edges, and comes all the way down to La Crosse, where it meets the Mississippi.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those older rivers, the north to south.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because the last glaciation,
and kayaking and that kind of stuff, and trout like crazy. And in fact, this whole section of the state from here, this whole western edge of the state, is considered to be some of the best trout fishing area in the world, because there's so many streams, trout streams.
I would like to go trout fishing one day. I've never done it.
Neither have I.
I mean, I've done a lot of lake fishing, fishing for walleye, bass, perch, but never the stream fishing.
Walleye are great.
I love.
So tasty. They got so much meat on them. Oh.
Yep. And it's been a very, very long time since I've done any fishing, because I know Sloth Girl got me a whole bunch of stuff for my birthday a couple of years ago, but getting to and from a fishing site is still not exactly easy. What I may have to end up doing, not this year anymore, but maybe next year, is try to keep some money aside and call an Uber and just stick my rod and my tackle box and shit in the back and just go to a fishing site, do what I do. Because there are places in the city that I can do some fishing.
You know, Diana, something that happens up here, and I can't imagine it doesn't in that area too, with all the, Three Rivers that you guys got and stuff. There's a group, I forget the name of them, but their whole purpose is that they're dedicated to getting people who have travel issues, and disabilities of whatever sort, out and doing things like fishing, like deer hunting, like skiing, to get them out, because it is so difficult for you guys to get around. I don't know.
I may have to look into it. See what happens, if there is anything. Because I would really like. One of the things I wouldn't mind doing is, if I could, and it's going to be really difficult now that I'm broken, is rent a cabin up on Presqu'île and spend a week there and do some fishing and do some swimming and shit like that. And I was looking at doing that before I ended up in hospital, and I figured out that I could probably spend a week up there for maybe $1,500, which is not impossible for me. It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Yeah,
But
Johnny
now-
Ox is asking if they use corn for trout bait.
I have no idea. I don't trout fish. Wouldn't surprise me though. Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, okay.
I know there are some trout rivers around here. You know, I haven't bothered looking for fishing spots here, but where I'm at, we've got the Sauk River runs right through the city here.
This tool provides your operating system with
I
software
actually shouldn't say I
security
don't trout
updates.
fish. I do trout fish because they're in Lake Michigan, and I've caught a number of brown trout, some fairly good sized, but not intentionally.
Yeah, I've caught some trout in the lakes up in Michigan, but yeah, we weren't specifically looking for anything. It was just kind of whatever got pulled up. Although I haven't been fishing in a long time just because I don't like cleaning them.
For the salmon I was fishing for, I was using minnows for Ox's edification there. The fish you see in front of us is a sunfish, just a little panfish. You might get as 8-10 inches long.
Yeah, you're looking at what, maybe a pound?
Oh, not
More
yet.
or
Well,
less.
yeah, total weight, not nearly that much meat, of course.
Right.
A lot of people really like sunfish and bluegills and panfish like that, but I think they're a lot more effort than they're worth.
Yeah, well, sunfish they're one of the easiest for catching, so it's not hard to go out and, catch a few dozen of them.
Yeah. Just don't tell the game warden.
I'm not sure what the limits are.
Oh, they don't mess around here. You have to have a license for your license, a license for your boat, for your pole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you need all that stuff here too, but
yeah, it's been a long time, Greg, since I've done it. I think I've told the stories, right, where my uncle and I would have cold anchovy pizza for breakfast at 3 a.m. and then go out on the lake and
good old days.
Yeah, with I think we had 4 rods and a case of beer and a box of cigars. I was 14.
Yeah,
so did you like the
fishing was
cigar?
another one of the things that everybody was always trying to get me to do, and because it was supposed to be one of the things that all the boys should be into.
Okay.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of women up here that fish.
I know there are, but it still was largely pushed as something that the boys and the men were going to go out on the lake fishing, and the girls were supposed to go do something else at the time. I don't remember what.
Well, the boys go out fishing, the women go out catching.
And I never did like that sort of thing, even when I was trying to do the boy thing of leaving the girls out, when it came to the fishing and everything else. But my cousin drove me crazy. She was easily bored. And, I'd be sitting on the pier trying to catch perch, and she's throwing rocks and scaring everything away. I don't know.
Well, that's when you throw her in.
Yeah, more than once I wanted to do that.
I do remember it being kind of fun fishing off the boat landing for crayfish.
Oh, wow. That sounds tasty.
Yeah, and crayfish are just, well, they're fucking stupid. Because you don't need any bait, you don't need any equipment. All we were doing this was back, with the old style pop can pull tabs that, came off of the can. All you had to do was tie one of those pull tabs to any string. We'd use a piece of kite string, drop it in the water, drag it across the bottom until one grabbed it, and you pull them up, and they wouldn't let go, and you drop them in the bucket.
Okay, then.
So you didn't even need to bait it. You just need something shiny on a piece of string.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. I've done crayfish fishing too, and that's pretty much it. They're dumb as rocks.
I don't know. I'd really, really, really like to
Well,
take.
you know, evolution comes down to you only have to be smart enough to outsmart your food. So if
Yeah,
scavengers
yeah.
are only eating things that are already dead, it doesn't take a lot of intelligence.
Yep.
Which is why we don't eat people, because most of the meat eaters aren't smart enough to catch us.
Is that why we eat chicken? Because they used to eat us?
Honey, what are you doing?
I think about that all the time. Do we like instinctually eat certain things because their ancestors hunted ours?
I don't know. Maybe
And if that was the case, we'd be eating cats.
hold an evolutionary grudge.
Well, people, you know, depending on where you live, people eat all kinds of weird stuff. I'm not going to say what country, but it's not rare to have a monkey hand on a stick.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen it, and I'm not going to say it because it's. I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah,
But
Jen, we didn't go out at night for the crayfish. We were doing this in broad daylight.
That's
So
what I
during the
wanted.
daylight, they were hiding under the rocks, and you just need something shiny to get them out from under the rocks.
We had this quarry near us that was just loaded. Anytime you went there to go after crayfish, you'd walk away with 30 or 40 of them in an hour or so.
Are you talking about crawdads?
Yeah. Crawdads, crayfish, same thing.
I am obsessed with crawdads.
Mud puppies.
It took me a minute to figure out what the hell you were talking about.
Yeah, freshwater lobster.
In Oregon, they have huge crawdad festivals where you'll just sit on a table, it's covered, and there's like, you know, hundreds of them. And hundreds of them. Good times.
All right, let's see.
I had no idea how they were cooked the first time I went crawdad fishing, and my friend's father cooked them, and it just freaked me out, and I haven't been able to touch lobster or crawdads since. I just can't do it.
Were you freaked out by dropping them into the pot and they're trying to crawl out?
Well, yeah, but that only lasts a few seconds. So it just the whole idea of what you're doing, that you're putting this thing into this just horribly hot. You know, they're jumping around because it's painful. You know.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
So when I was a kid, my pops made sure that I was the one to drop the lobster in the boiling pot.
All right.
No, but it was more for trauma's sake, because I was like, you know, I'd tell him like, hey, this is a living animal. He's like, all right, this one's sensitive. This kid's sensitive, so we got to tough him up.
Do I correctly remember that they scream when you throw them in hot water?
Anything does. Everything does.
Okay.
I don't think that's actually a scream. I think that's internal pressure escaping from the open spots in the shell.
Yeah, it's when the shell starts to crack. It's the air from the shell escaping.
I told a story about I knew someone that had illegal Brazilian pythons or something. He would feed them rabbits, and it came to the point where I couldn't be within earshot because rabbits sound like people when they scream.
Yes, they do. Yes.
It's awful. I'm laughing because I'm desensitized, but when I was like 17, 18, I was like, people really do this stuff?
Yeah, I used to keep rabbits, and God, you learn more things about rabbits than you ever wanted to know.
No, you ever really wanted to know, yeah.
I had a friend that had a pet alligator. It was about a foot and a half long, and that was kind of fun to watch, because you know you have to feed it stuff, you know, that was dead. You know, that's okay. They'll eat anything. But it was kind of neat that here this animal's in captivity and certainly not happy about it. But it wouldn't think anything about jumping at my friend, who's a full-grown adult human being. and taking a chunk out of his hand. You know, I'm an alligator. Don't fuck with me. It was great watching him get bit.
There's a monkey farm over by the ranch for people who couldn't handle the fact that monkeys live longer than the average human. So, like,
Wait,
there's
which monkeys are these?
people who owned monkeys and either died or the monkey hurt them. There's a farm over out in the middle of nowhere by my job, and then there's another gibbon farm, but the gibbons are they're peaceful because it's nothing but gibbons. So they have a certain call. You could hear them at a certain time of morning. But the rescue monkey farm, I wouldn't go there if you paid me. That's where all the bad monkeys go. It's monkey jail.
Well, it's like chimpanzees and lab chimpanzees and stuff. It's just so horrible what we do to them.
And why would you want?
No, I can't say anything because one of my professors used to work with primates.
But that's different than keeping a jaguar in your backyard. Or in America, and I know this because of the Tiger King, there are more tigers in captivity in America than there are in the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
They're all fucking basking. So
I love that damn.
I don't know why. I don't know why that show was so fascinating because it was it was an absolute dumpster fire, and it could have been something. It could have been something that could have been a serious discussion about tigers being bred and kept in captivity, but it just turned into. But it just, and it could have that show could have really raised and really done something to raise discussion around that issue. But that show just turned into such a fucking dumpster fire around him and the woman and it was fucking.
The only
They
thing,
promote the drama because that's what gets them ratings.
And it's so sad. Do you know, you can get a tiger for $2,000. Like, that's insane. I could go get a tiger right now and put it in my backyard. I wouldn't know what the hell to do with it.
You can't buy a high-end German Shepherd for that much.
By the way,
that's what I'm saying.
I'll just put the link to my stream in the live chat. So I'm set up now. So I'm going to be going live in about 20 minutes or so. So I'll probably jump off here in about 5 or 10 minutes to get set up.
Good. I'm in a lot of pain.
If you want to pop back in here, then to put the StreamYard link in the private chat for if anybody's ready to jump over there. I'm going to have to go. But yeah.
It's a little difficult because I'm actually on my phone talking to you right now, but I'm on my laptop.
Okay, well, if you send it in the Twitter group, I think everybody can get it there.
Yeah. I've put the links. I've put the links, the link to the stream in a number of the Twitter groups. Anyway, so I might see if anyone wants to come in and talk about this. But I'm gonna get some stuff off my own chest before I bring anyone in. But
wait a minute, what am I doing here? This is not working. Why is this not working? Why is? Huh. I don't remember turning the element off.
I'm a crazy human. I'll eat any kind of crab. They all taste good, especially when you mix them with mayo and put some relish in there.
I had this.
I've never tried the soft shell crabs.
I dated a lovely young lady who was from Gouldsbury, Maine, shot out to the middle of nowhere, and her parents came when we lived in Santa Monica. They came down and they brought crab cakes and all this stuff. I didn't know that Maine lobster was like this delicacy, It was some of the greatest stuff I've ever had in my life.
There was a time when Maine lobster was poor people's food. There were so many of them. They used to feed them to the prisoners, but then they were overfished, and that's it, man.
And now
Yeah.
people are getting rich off of it.
There actually was a point in Maine where a law was passed that they could not feed the prisoners lobster more than 5 times a week.
I'm sorry to laugh because now people pay, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get that stuff shipped here.
Uh-huh.
They don't have lobsters in the Pacific?
Yeah, but like anywhere else, if you put a fancy name in front of anything and enough reputation, like what's the difference between an Idaho potato and a potato that's grown in the Central Valley of California?
Yeah, well, and
Nothing.
food distribution is really weird. You know, that when I was living in New York, I noticed this, that it's a state that's on the ocean, and yet it turned out that most of the fish we were getting was from the Pacific.
Yeah, exactly.
How did that make any sense for them to literally ship it across the entire continent and be able to sell it cheaper than stuff that was being pulled out of the water, you know, like 200 miles away?
Well, we used to, up until this orange guy got into office, the West Coast, Central California was a main export, was fish and beef. And we'd send a lot of our beef to China. Until a certain orange president came into office and literally crippled the state of California.
It's just this to do with his like dick measuring contest with the Chinese government.
No, that was mostly because he hated California because it was a blue state.
Yeah, and he like he destroyed our contracts. Like literally.
Trump was very open about giving, you know, he never said it, but his actions showed that he was very vengeful against anybody who was a blue state. That he didn't vote for him in the election.
And like it's not even
a lot of Republicans are still doing that now.
And to quote Walter Brandon, no brag, just fact. The state of California is the 3rd largest economy in the world.
Right.
And so because of that, like he literally crippled our farming industry because the entire central half of California is farmland.
Okay. That wasn't entirely Trump's doing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It was a combination of things.
Yeah, one of the things that really crippled that, well, actually, it kind of was Trump's, but California farmers actually voted mostly for Trump.
Ugh.
And then because of the change in the immigration laws, when it came time to harvest, they couldn't get the migrant workers up there.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 to 30% of the crop rotted in the field because they couldn't get enough people to pick it.
We have that problem right now, too.
It's still the same thing. They can't get migrant farm workers anymore.
And
last year, the crops did not get harvested out of our local fields till November, even late November. And this year, they're already done now. Gee, what a difference.
It's amazing that you weren't harvesting frozen vegetables.
Yeah, that was really pushing it because, by that time in November, there could have been significant snow on the ground.
Uh-huh.
Although that's one of the things that, I've seen here already is the winters here have been getting much milder.
This area is mostly seed corn and soybeans, both of which you harvest after they dry on the vine. In Wisconsin, across the river, they're very heavy into cranberries and pretty much the world's supply of cranberries. And horseradish. Almost all the world's horseradish is grown here.
Cranberries don't come from Massachusetts anymore.
No, they come from there too, but Wisconsin has 10 times as many.
Oh yeah, Wisconsin's always had a lot of cranberry.
I did not know this. I learned something today. How do you like that?
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's just huge. And on the eastern end side of Wisconsin, ginger. Is that ginger? No, what's that G thing? Chinese?
Oh, ginseng.
Ginseng, yeah. Is like ships more ginseng to China than they grow on their own.
Right, guys, I'm going to jump on out of here right now
Yep.
and get set up. So I'm going live in about 15 minutes or so. So,
Okay,
Yeah,
honey.
but we should do the wind down here.
okay, cool.
Yeah, we should do the wind down here, and I need to get going here anyway. So
Yeah, I'm in a ton of pain.
No
Okay.
worries. So there you go. I've got something coming up on my channel in 15 minutes. So there's my plug out of the way.
Absolutely nerdy.
Okay, honey.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. Okay, because I'm going to go get set up.
Yep.
Right.
Is that a threat?
Sounds like.
Oh, boy, boy. Well, I got my notebook running. Yay!
How'd that happen?
What? My notebook running?
Yay!
No, I thought I had Jeff's link there, and when I went to paste it, it was something else.
Oops. Now tomorrow I've got to get the network connection for the dialysis clinic set up.
Yep.
But I hope it'll be a whole lot better because this notebook is a shitload lighter than that behemoth laptop I have.
That's awesome. I think Isaiah has one of those, and they work well. He's on it all day long, every day.
It only cost me $1,200.
That means you have
my iPad is indispensable. I use it so much. I just can't do any of the sophisticated things on it that I'd like to do.
Oh my! No, I don't think I'll be doing anything Mac anytime soon because I like to work on my own stuff, and you can't do that with a Mac. You know, I don't work on the hardware, build your own computer, all that bullshit.
I would talk trash about Mac, but I have a feeling if I say anything bad, all my computers are gonna explode like Get Smart or something. Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we were going to go around on the wrap up here. Jenny, anything you're plugging? Upcoming appearances?
Doesn't B have something going tonight?
I don't know. Does he?
I think B is doing her open mic night.
Probably.
Or is that tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm not sure what her start
that's
time
what,
is.
That's what I'm trying to put together. That's why I'm trying to put together that TV guide of shows because I can't remember. I need to have something written down.
That would be great. I think B usually starts at 7:30 Central.
And Diana, I wanted you to submit to me. Oh, baby, submit.
I was just about to tell you that I'll be sending you some stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't send you on Twitter because you never answer your tweets and stuff on Twitter.
Yes,
so
you did. You sent me a DM.
Oh, I did. You did get it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just have to get around to doing something about it.
Okay, well, Diane, why don't we go to you then?
Okay.
What you got coming up?
I'm just doing housekeeping around here for the next few days. The next show I know I'm putting on is Sunday at noon. You know, Coffee with Lavender, me, Kate, maybe Manda, maybe Tina. I've got a couple transgendered chef episodes lying around. That there are a couple of them that I have edited, and a few more I need to edit. And now that I have this notebook, I can work at the dialysis clinic, and I can do that stuff there. So maybe I can start doing stuff on a regular basis.
On your cooking show, I
Yeah.
would love to. I would love to see you do an episode on carving and serving sausages. Sorry,
Carving sausages.
I'm sorry. I had to say that.
I don't know. No, I did do one on brining and roasting a turkey. You ever brine a turkey?
No, I haven't.
It's really, really great. I love the way it works. Basically, what you do, you know how you usually thaw turkeys in water in the defriginator, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, to brine a turkey, you thaw it in salt water in the refrigerator, and it gives it a wonderfully light, salty flavor, and it helps keep it moist. You know, moist.
Gotcha.
So it doesn't dry out while you're roasting it, and it's really great. The only extra work you have to do is add salt to the water while you're thawing the turkey, and that's it.
Okay, well, we can't get too much into recipes here.
Right.
Got to
No,
give Will a chance to do his wrap up.
I'm in pain today, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try. Okay. I'm like, you gotta wind me up first. All right. Oh, look how white that beard is. This is age. This is stress.
Oh,
I
don't
am
do it. Don't even do it. No.
How's it going? Are
You're
you
what?
tired of
Yeah,
Forty?
Will, you're the youngest one in the stream, so
Thank you for that. Okay. How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Are you tired of the same old, same old? You tired of the same old? Why don't you come on down to the Godless Sewing channel where I act like a complete maniac, talk about nothing except for sewing. And I will be making a video about this machine, which I completely built from the ground up. I'm actually proud of myself. I made a bunch of patches already. Look at this. Sewing machine. Beautiful. I made this one. Beautiful. Come on down, live your life like Gina Davis. And if you don't get that, you're probably not West Hollywood gay, and that's okay. My whole point is Godless Sewing, Godless Sewing, Godless Sewing channel. Come on down. I talk about no current events. I talk about life in general. I could care less about what's going on because I didn't start the fire. Live your life like Gina Davis and have a beautiful day.
God, she's so hot. Oh,
She's an amazing human being. She's had a ton of failures and she's kept on going. Look, I wrapped the show with something relevant. Wow.
I would love to date her.
She's an amazing human being. And a California icon.
She doesn't do enough movies. She's doing all her private stuff that she does, which, I don't know all the details of what she does, but I've heard that she does all kinds of incredible things, like you're saying, charity and social justice wise, and I'm impressed. But I'd like to see her do more movies.
She's trying to save the world right now.
well, okay. I will be back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Central. And
Ooh, see that gigantic clock?
be on the shills. When I can, I'm doing a pub chat, which is Fridays at 5 Central, and the regular shills show is being Saturdays at. I think it's going to be Saturdays at 6 now. Or with the time change, things are getting screwed up, but we've got to get through this month for the U.S. to do the daylight saving time change, and yeah, that's gonna mess up all the
That's
time
early
zones
November,
yet again.
right?
Huh?
The time change is early November, right?
Yep, first weekend in November.
Daí eu gosto.
Why do they wait so long?
Well, it's like we should get rid of it altogether, but if we're not, can we at least get all the countries to do it on the same weekend? Why is it that the UK and Australia do it a month before the US?
Well, actually, isn't it the case that the U.S. is doing it a month after they are? Because I thought the time change was earlier in the past here in the U.S.
Yeah, well, for whatever reason.
Yeah, George Bush reset it because he thought it would save energy.
Well, so did Jimmy Carter, and you know how that worked.
Okay, well, anyway, I need to thank my patrons who have been helping support this channel. Greg Hartwick, who has been with us here today, and Diana, the Lavender Lady, Robert X, Ox, June the Apostate, Vonrick, and X of the Utah Outcast. I really appreciate you, basically paying the expenses for this channel so I can keep going without putting much out of my pocket. Because I don't have much to start with.
Do we cover your internet?
Oh, no, it doesn't come anywhere near covering my internet. Mostly it just pays for the StreamYards.
Come on, people, get with it.
Yeah, I took my first payout from Patreon earlier this month, and after letting it accumulate for 2.5 years, I got a payout of $107.
Nice.
Perp, could I make a plug?
Yeah. What else you need to plug?
Hey, everybody out there, Jyuni, the Apostate, Juni the Apostate, a very interesting channel, and she does some interesting stuff, and I'm just encouraging people to go watch it, so like and subscribe, all that good stuff. She's a good kid, and has a different way of looking at stuff.
Didn't Junie do your artwork, Purple?
Yeah, Junie is supporting me on Patreon, and Junie did my avatar.
She did my avatar. That's an anime character.
I love her channel.
Yeah,
I was her first the first guest on her channel.
Yay! I have to more.
Well, and of course, with it being Halloween, now she's in the middle of doing a series of basically like campfire ghost stories.
Ooh, fun!
Will, I also need a description and time slots for your stuff if you're doing live, and even if you're not doing live, when you post or when your shows post or premiere, whatever.
Okay.
And description and name of the show, name of the channel, because I'm building a TV guide sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm pretty predictable.
With all that said, I will bid you all a good day, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.